And the Source Award for Best Performance goes to...
Who's the winner?
Where my dogs at? DMX!
Why
DMX!
So Eminem released a track which is called Rap God. He's the Rap God now?
I don't know what Eminem is.
I don't got nothing against Eminem. I got nothing against Eminem. Eminem can rap, but I care about us more. I don't want to go through, I don't want to talk about it no more. I don't want, for 22 years, every time I do an interview, they ask me about Eminem.
Surface, it looked like there was mutual respect between the two.
Welcome back to Fame Flux, where the truth behind fame gets exposed. Eminem has been involved in countless rap beefs, shutting down numerous rappers so brutally with his verses that some never fully recovered from the lyrical damage. However, there was one artist he appeared to hold back on, none other than DMX. On the surface, it seemed there was mutual respect between the two. Yet fans have long speculated that something deeper was simmering beneath the public image. The theory of an underlying tension between DMX and Eminem has persisted for years. Much of it stems from the fact that both were dominant forces in hip-hop during the late 1990s and early 2000s. Two heavyweight MCs with massive fan bases that overlapped significantly.
And the Source Award for Best Performance goes to...
Who's the winner?
Where my dogs at? DMX!
DMX!
Competing in an era where two top-tier rappers at the peak of their powers inevitably sparked assumptions of rivalry. What truly ignited the rumors, however, was a perceived diss DMX delivered toward Eminem in his 2000 hit Party Up in Here. Fans dissected lines like, "I don't know who the F you think you're talking to, but I'm not him. I'm Slim. So watch what you do, or you're gonna find yourself buried next to someone else," claiming the Slim reference was aimed at Eminem's alter ego, Slim Shady. Then came another eyebrow-raising moment in the second verse with, "So whatever it is you puffin' on that got you think you Superman, I got the kryptonite. Should I smack him with my D or the mic?" Fueling further speculation that DMX may have been taking direct lyrical shots. This subtle tension had fans reading between the lines for years, wondering if a full-on lyrical war was only ever a verse away. Y'all dudes as characters, not even good actors? Had many believing DMX was referencing Eminem's track Superman. On the surface, it might sound like X was gunning for Eminem, but when you actually break down the timeline, the theory starts to fall apart. For starters, Superman was released in 2002, 3 full years after DMX dropped Party Up in 1999, making it impossible for X to have been responding to a song that didn't yet exist.
I showed you a snapshot of one of my favorite videos. Do you think you know what that snapshot is?
I think it's the real Slim Shady.
Gina, you're wrong.
No! I'm not right?
You couldn't be wronger. Hang up on this girl. That video that I showed you, Gina, was actually DMX Party Up.
Some fans tried flipping the script, claiming Superman was Eminem's clapback at DMX. But that theory also collapses under scrutiny. Superman was actually part of Eminem's lyrical exchanges aimed at Ja Rule and Benzino, not DMX. As for that Slim reference, while it might raise eyebrows now, the word slim was a common way to describe someone skinny at the time. Eminem's alter ego, Slim Shady, had only recently started becoming widely recognized, with the Slim Shady LP dropping in early 1999, just months before DMX's Ooh, and then there was X. Eminem's global takeover was still in its early stages, so it's entirely possible DMX wasn't talking about him at all. Digging deeper, Party Up was reportedly aimed at Corrupt, not Eminem. Still, that didn't stop fans from connecting dots that weren't there. Then came the Grammy Awards, where Party Up lost Best Rap Solo Performance to Eminem's The Real Slim Shady. That moment poured gasoline on the rumor fire. To make things even messier, an old interview resurfaced, where DMX seemed to downplay Eminem's talent. For many, that clip became proof of tension between the two, whether real or simply perceived, cementing the narrative that a subtle rivalry might have been brewing beneath the surface. But if you watch the full interview, DMX actually calls Eminem talented and even shuts down the interviewer for trying to spark drama. He made it clear there was no personal issue, emphasizing that they had mutual respect. When it came to Eminem's respect for DMX, the admiration was just as strong. Despite the rumors and fan speculation, both artists openly acknowledged each other's contributions to hip-hop. Eminem, in particular, gave DMX his flowers on multiple occasions, publicly recognizing his raw energy, lyrical ability, and impact on the culture. One of the most memorable moments came at the 1999 Source Awards, when Eminem had the honor of presenting DMX with the award for Best Performance. The excitement was written all over his face, howling and shouting, "Get at me, dog!" as DMX made his way to the stage, creating a moment fans still talk about today. Then, in 2000, just one day before dropping his now classic Marshall Mathers LP, Eminem once again showed love in an interview, naming DMX's Party Up music video as one of his absolute favorites at the time. It was a clear signal that, behind the scenes, there was nothing but respect between two of rap's most dominant forces. And of course, the biggest display of unity between Eminem and DMX came when they joined forces against a common enemy, Ja Rule. At the height of the drama, when Ja was feuding with nearly everyone in the industry, Eminem and DMX linked up for the explosive track Go to Sleep, featured on Obi Trice's project The Bars Open. That track was pure fire, raw, aggressive, and unapologetic. Eminem opened with a verse that went straight for the jugular, spitting lines like, "Come on, B, show me, pick me up, throw me, lift me up, hold me just like you told me you was gonna do." That's what I thought. You're pitiful, I'm rid of you. All of you, Ja, you'll get it too. He made it clear that Ja Rule was grouped right alongside Benzino and anyone else taking aim at him or his camp. And then DMX stormed in on the third verse with his trademark gritty delivery, rapping, "Dudes try to holler but couldn't holler back. Now they gotta swallow everything in the sack, bloodline, and we can go track for track." The energy was unmatched, and fans instantly knew this was more than just a diss. It was a warning shot from two of rap's most dangerous voices. We all know how things turned out for Ja Rule after going head-to-head with not just Eminem, but DMX and eventually 50 Cent. Many believe that targeting Eminem was the final nail in the coffin for Ja's rap career. In truth, the original tension didn't start with Eminem. It stemmed from Ja's deep-rooted beef with 50 Cent. When Eminem signed 50 to Shady Records, Ja took it as a declaration of war, deciding he wouldn't just beef with 50, he'd come after Eminem too. He set his sights on the entire Shady Aftermath camp, but instead of keeping it lyrical or focusing solely on Eminem, Ja Rule crossed a major line that would seal his fate in the beef. In one track, he rapped, "You claim your mother's a crackhead, and Kim is a known S, so what's Haley gonna be when she grows up?" That line was like striking a match in a room full of gasoline. Eminem, who had always been fiercely protective of his daughter, reacted with pure fury. He gathered the entire Shady Records family and retaliated with a scathing diss titled Haley's Revenge. The track opened with a clip of young Haley being asked what she wanted to be when she grew up, to which she responded, "I don't know, but I don't want to grow up to be like Ja Rule's little dirty kids." It was a gut punch before the first verse even dropped. From there, Eminem unleashed a lyrical onslaught, throwing barbs like, "Bring Daddy's Oscar, we're gonna shove it up, Ja Rule." He also targeted Ja's long-running reputation for trying to imitate Tupac's legacy, a criticism that had followed Ja throughout his career, rapping, "You unpacked, you a replica guy. If he was alive, you would never get by. All you do is cry, B, keep it real, life is more than imitating and eating pills." But that wasn't the end of the assault. Eminem and 50 Cent doubled down with the diss track Hail Mary, flipping the title of one of Tupac's most iconic songs and transforming it into blistering weapon aimed squarely at Ja Rule. It was a clear signal that this beef had gone beyond music. It was now personal and unforgiving. The message from the diss tracks was direct. Ja Rule's status in rap was being challenged head-on, and the comparisons to Tupac were dismissed outright. One of the most pointed bars reinforced that divide, making it clear where the Shady Aftermath camp stood. The coordinated lyrical onslaught left Ja Rule struggling to maintain the dominance he once had, especially as 50 Cent's rapid rise shifted the focus of the hip-hop scene in the early 2000s. By 2004, Eminem revisited the feud in a more reflective tone on Like Toy Soldiers, explaining that while he had considered ending the conflict, certain boundaries crossed in the lyrics made reconciliation impossible. He acknowledged that the situation had escalated beyond control, reinforcing how deeply personal the dispute had become. Even after the peak of the feud, the tension lingered. Years later, on his 2018 Kamikaze album, Eminem referenced past conflicts in passing, reminding listeners of how long-lasting the effects of that era's rivalries were on the careers and reputations of those involved. Before long, the friendship between DMX and Ja Rule began to face new pressures. DMX's It's Dark and Hell is Hot had turned him into one of the biggest stars in hip-hop overnight, selling over 250,000 copies in its first week and cementing his gritty, aggressive style as a defining sound of the era. Then, just months later, on December 22nd, 1998, DMX dropped his second album, Flesh of My Flesh, Blood of My Blood, which debuted at #1, a rare back-to-back feat that showcased his dominance. Meanwhile, Ja Rule was still on the come-up, preparing for the release of his own debut project. The competitive atmosphere within Def Jam's growing roster started to intensify. While Irv Gotti's Murder Inc. label was pushing Ja Rule as its flagship artist, DMX's meteoric rise meant that the spotlight wasn't evenly shared. The initial camaraderie between the two, built during their early collaborations with Mike Geronimo and shared stage time, began to show cracks as the industry positioned them in overlapping lanes. It wasn't open hostility yet, but the seeds of future tension were quietly being planted, setting the stage for one of hip-hop's most talked-about riffs in the years that followed. By August 2002, the tension between DMX and Ja Rule had boiled over into the public eye. What had once been friendly competition now turned into an open feud. During an interview on Power 105.1, DMX snapped after repeated questions about Ja Rule, declaring that it was officially going down between them. His comments left little room for interpretation. This was no longer just subtle jabs on records. Within hours, Ja Rule fired back by calling into Hot 97, mocking DMX with the nickname Crackman X, and claiming that DMX couldn't compete with him lyrically or otherwise. The exchange lit up the hip-hop media cycle, fueling speculation and debates among fans about who would come out on top if things escalated. The accusations at the core of the feud, DMX believing Ja was copying his style and delivery, and Ja insisting he was his own artist, had now turned into an all-out war of words. What made it even more explosive was that both rappers had deep connections in the industry, meaning their conflict risked pulling in other big names and creating wider divides in the rap scene. This was no longer just about music. It was about pride, authenticity, and control of the lane they both once shared. Ja Rule's tense history with DMX had spanned years of subliminal disses, public call-outs, and near-physical confrontations. But despite the heat, their story ended on an unexpectedly peaceful note. After DMX spared Ja during a tense standoff years earlier, the tension lingered until 2004, when DMX's legal troubles escalated into a high-profile arrest. The charges were extensive, from drug possession to impersonating a federal agent, and eventually landed him a 70-day sentence at Rikers Island. During his time behind bars, Irv Gotti visited and proposed ending the feud once and for all. Surprisingly, DMX agreed, setting the stage for reconciliation. The turning point came on September 23, 2009, at VH1's Hip Hop Honors Ceremony, when DMX and Ja Rule were spotted greeting each other warmly, putting years of hostility behind them. Just months later, they reunited musically on the track Stay Flawless, signaling that the beef was truly over. It was a rare moment in hip-hop where pride took a backseat to unity, reminding fans that even the fiercest rivalries can end in respect. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this breakdown, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss another story.